Hello and warm welcome, students. I hope I'm visible and audible. Yes, somehow. I have tried to. I'm trying a new way of teaching to you people, and the new way of teaching to you people is I'm just going to increase my volume as well by uploading live videos wherein I'll be teaching you Julius Caesar, and in this way I'll be able to interact with you people, and the way video gets saved later on, you can watch it, you can comment on it, you can talk about what you want me to explain, if there's anything you could not understand, but in this way we'll be able to be more interactive towards each other. So a warm welcome to you all, a warm welcome back to you all. If the noise of my fan is a little bit distracting, do let me know, but somehow we'll get it. I'm sure we'll be able to concentrate with it, because that is what my goal here is. Not trying to make it all fancy, but trying to make it all authentic and sticking to the basics and the origin, so we can study well and more. And also I'm not too technologically advanced, so I'm not going to put in this and that and this, but yes, what I'm going to offer is to make sure that you understand the text really well. Now coming to the text, so we know that we have Julius Caesar as a part of our ICSE syllabus. It is of significance, it is of importance, and it is one of those texts which takes a little longer to understand, maybe because of the difference in language of that time and this time, right? Before we get into the details of the language, details of the explanation, what I'm also going to be talking about with you all is the fact that how Julius Caesar is based. I'm sure if you people have watched Act 1, Scene 1 video, I might have said it there, but I'm going to repeat it again because this is like almost a re-entry. And I like my way or my method of teaching, and that is I was struggling to, coming back here on YouTube, is more of learner centric, which is where I converse with the children. This is not just me putting up the videos up there and you people taking it. No, it's more of we doing it together, and that is what I liked, and that is why I tutor students personally, so at home, so that things become a little more easier, we can interact with each other. But at the back of my mind, I also wanted it to be there that I wanted each and every students, as many people as I can reach, to go ahead, understand the text. Education should not be limited to a certain sector, certain people. It should reach far and wide, everywhere. Anyone who can benefit from it in any way possible. So that is why I'm back here again. But as I said, you might not find the best technological presentation here in my videos. What you might find is me talking to you a lot, talking to you about how to write answers for ICSE, talking to you about why is it important to concentrate on certain paragraphs. There might be certain glitches, you might not be able to hear me, and pardon me for all of those things. If you bear with me, we are good to go. And at this moment I don't even know whether I'm audible or not. If I'm audible, that's great, otherwise I have to put up another live video. Such is the person I am. But I don't believe in putting up any kind of fakeness or show or anything of that sort, so I'm here telling you all of that. Now coming back to the text, which is of importance here, which is of significance here for us. So when we are discussing Julius Caesar, it is important, very very important, which is what we saw in what we could observe in Act 1 Scene 1, the conflict between, and there's certain words which I'd emphasize, there's certain words which I'll tell you to again and again try to certain words that I'll tell you again and again to put it, certain adjectives to use for your answer, so that it enhances your answer, it makes your answers more better, it makes your answers not the answers as in, oh god, I have used all fancy words. No, writing good answers at any level, whether it's your ICSE, ISC, masters, English, whatever level, is about answering it directly, is about presenting your thoughts in a manner that is understood by the reader by giving ample examples. Okay, we'll also go there, if you people like, we'll also have a class or a session on how to write better answers, not just for ICSE but in general, so that we become better readers and writers, and we all need to be better readers and writers in this world. Okay, now coming back to the text, now I'll see how I'll try to what is that called, turn over the cameras, flip the screen or whatever, so that I can focus on the textbook that I have. The edition that I have is Julius Caesar Oxford edition. You can take the AW Verity edition, which is I think Xavier Pinto edition. I think it's not Xavier Pinto edition, it's the one which Pinto, Prince Xavier Pinto has published or is somehow associated with, I think. But the one that I have is Julius Caesar, Oxford Julius Caesar. Now that we are done with all the niceties and beginnings, now yes, so as you might have observed that in Act 1 Scene 1, what we saw is that the text was all about the text was all about the text was all about yes, the text was all about the conflict between republicanisms and monarchists, right? That is what the text is based on. So the Roman Empire at this juncture, at this point, is talking about what? Is talking about a group of people who are republicans and a group of people, not a group of people at this point of time. Roman earlier times was ruled by triumvirate. What is the triumvirate? Triumvirate is three people ruling. We had Pompey, we had Crassus, and we had Julius Caesar. I might be mistaken, maybe he was Crassus, but I'm sure it's Crassus, Crassus. So we had Crassus, we had Julius Caesar, and we had Pompey. After Pompey, what we also had was, after Crassus, we had Pompey and Julius Caesar sharing the balance of power. But later, once Julius Caesar has been defeated, once Pompey had been defeated by Julius Caesar, whom do we have? We have Julius Caesar, and at this juncture, we saw how the power shifts from Pompey to Julius Caesar. That is where we are at this point of time. Now, when Act 3 Scene 1 begins, we have to remember that this is the kernel, this is the importance, this is the whole center, the bone of the play, or this is the main kernel of the play, the core of the play is that, and the whole play revolves around this. Why? Because now we are in class 10, so we have to have that. It's not that ICSE has demarcated the syllabus, Act 1 and 2 class 9, 3, 4, 5 class 10. So when we reach class 10, we are forgetting about 1, 2. No, that's not how we are going to approach the text, and that's not how we study. We have to make sure that the details there, the important parts of there is there seeped inside our mind while we are going and studying Act 3 Scene 1, right? If you have your books in front of you, do take it out when you are going to watch this video. I'm sure none of you are watching it right now. I hope someone watches it at some point, some student, because again my goal here is to make sure that all of you, I think I've already uploaded Act 3 Scene 1 video before, but I'm doing it again. Why? Because certain things with the new, or rather updation in the pattern of ICSE, I thought more information needs to be taken into consideration before we move on to another Act 3, Scene 2, Scene 4, whatever, as much as I can, right? So what do we see here? Okay, what we see here is that this is the scene where it's Rome in front of the Capitol. We have a crowd of people. Among them, we have Artemidorus. We have already known that how Artemidorus had planned that he's going to present his suit. Suit means request. So he's going to present his request to Julius Caesar. Yeah, he's going to present his request to Julius Caesar, in which he would warn him about the assassination plotted against him. That is what we studied. The scene that we studied, that was Act 2. I'm sure if my memory serves me well. Yes, Act 2 Scene 3. So it was in Act 3 2 Scene 3 wherein we studied that how we had Artemidorus saying, I'm going to read out the lines, just listen to it. If you have a book, you can follow it, and I'm just going to flip the camera, and then you can have a look at it. Caesar, beware of Brutus, take heed of Cassius, come not near Casca, have an eye to Cinna. So when you're reading Act 3 Scene 1, make sure to write there, wherever you have the space in your book, make sure to take a pencil and write there that Act 2 Scene 3. Why? Because when we are reading certain scenes, we are reading scenes in conjunction with other scenes. No scene stands in isolation. All the scenes are related to what has happened before. So all the scenes follow what has happened before. So when we are studying Act 3 Scene 1, when we are studying Act 3 Scene 1, we study Act 3 Scene 1 with that information in our mind, where Artemidorus says, Caesar, beware of Brutus, take heed of Cassius, come not near Casca, have an eye to Cinna, trust not Trebinus, Mark thee well, Metellus Cimber, Decius Brutus loves thee not, thou hast wrong Caius Ligarius. There is but one mind in all these men. One mind means one goal in all of these men. There is but one mind in all of these men. And what is that one mind in all of these men? The one mind that is there in all of these men is the fact that that they want to assassinate Julius Caesar. They're plotting a conspiracy against Julius Caesar. And it is bent against Caesar, if thou beest not immortal. If thou beest not immortal, if you're not immortal, look about you, beware, be careful, be cautious. Security means overconfidence. This you will also study in Macbeth, when you are going to study Macbeth, that how it talks about that when one of the Hecate says, this will be in class 10 12, when Hecate says that how security gives way to error. It's something similar of that sort. She says something of that sort. So similarly, her security means overconfidence gives way to conspiracy. When you're too overconfident, you can come into this conspiracy, you can face this conspiracy which has been plotted against you. The mighty gods defend thee. I hope the mighty gods protect you, defend you, thy lover Artemidorus. Okay, so our lover here means your well-wisher Artemidorus. Yes, Artemidorus. All these Roman names or whatever seems a little difficult to pronounce at certain juncture, and you're like, is it Artemidorus or Artemidorius, or am I pronouncing this correctly or not? Especially as a teacher, you have to be careful because you don't want students to make spelling mistakes. So Caesar, so it becomes at a point that Caesar is doing what, and by and again I will stop at certain juncture, tell you what to focus on, how to read, whatever, those will be our points of relaxation when we are not focusing too much on the text. Now just give me a moment, I try to flip the camera if I can. Yes, here it goes. Yeah, I hope this is visible. Just as I told you students that I am not the best person out here on this planet to do these kind of things. That's why I was steering away from from doing this. But yeah, here we are. We have got back to our Zoom. So that was, I was steering away from doing this because I was like, I'm not well adapted to all of this. I'm sure I'll learn in a course of time. But yes, so if the text is visible, then that's great. Although I know you might be having the book, so you might be able to know this, but still I want to give you a better visual of it. Okay, yeah, so here it is. A crowd of people, among them Artemidorus, soothsayer, flourish of trumpet, sound of trumpet, enter, and then you have the list of the people that's there after Caesar: Brutus, Cassius, Casca, Decius, Metellus, Trebinus, Cinna, Antony, Lepidus, Popilius, Publius, and others. There what you can do is you can write that conspirators. That's your full list of the conspirators. I don't think perhaps ICSE can give you as an MCQ the list of conspirators. So there you have the list of conspirators, right? And you might see there are other scribblings in my book. So I'll let you know what these scribblings are. I'll let you know about that, okay? So that's there. Now, yes, so we are actually in the midst of the explanation of Julius Caesar Act 3 Scene 1, and you can follow. We have just begun. Okay. Caesar to soothsayer. The IDs of March are come. The IDs of March are come, beta. The IDs of March has arrived. So the IDs of March has arrived. There on top of IDs of March has arrived, what you can write is Act 1 Scene 2. Why? Because what does it brings to our memory? It brings to our memory that how in Act 1 Scene 2 what had happened. In Act 1 Scene 2 we had we had the soothsayer telling Julius Caesar, in fact informing Julius Caesar. What was he informing Julius Caesar? Is informing Julius Caesar that beware of IDs of March, and he says no, let's not pay heed to this person because he's just a dreamer. He's someone who is only dreaming. He's just a dreamer. That's who he is. So let's not pay attention to that person. So now we again have the re-entry of soothsayer. It's actually a re-entry because this play was performed. It was not written to be read by us, but rather to be performed on that Shakespearean Elizabethan stage. So there we are. So Caesar to the soothsayer. The IDs of March are come. What does IDs of March are come means? IDs of March has arrived. Soothsayer, I Caesar, but not gone. So Caesar is reminding, you told me to beware of IDs of March, but IDs of, pardon me, that's my pet at the back. Okay, so the ID, maybe he also want to quips in and gives remarks about IDs of March. So the IDs of March have come, which means the IDs of March has arrived. So Caesar is almost kind of reminding the soothsayer that the IDs of March has arrived. So what about you? You were the one who told me to warn, soothsayer, you were the one who warned me about this particular date. And then soothsayer says, I Caesar, but not gone. Yes, Caesar, IDs of March has come, but IDs of March has not yet over. Not gone means it's not yet over. And then we have Artemidorus who says, Hail Caesar, obviously welcoming Caesar. Read this schedule. Schedule means better. Read this request, read this plea. And then we have Decius who says, Trebinus doth desire you to overread as you at your best leisure this humble suit. Overread means to read through. So what is he saying? That Trebinus desires you to read through. Yeah, Trebinus desires you to read through the suit, that at your best leisure. What is best leisure? Best leisure is your free time. At your free time, Trebinus desires you to read this, read this suit, read this request. Artemidorus, O Caesar, read mine first. And then he says, so read mine first. Please read mine first. For mine's a suit that touches Caesar nearer. That touches Caesar nearer. But what is the meaning of it? That's close to Caesar. That's more closely related to Caesar. So that touches Caesar nearer, more closely related to Caesar. Read it, great Caesar. Kindly read it, great Caesar. Caesar, what touches us ourselves shall be last served. So what is he telling? What concerns myself shall be last served. Shall be last served means shall be last considered at last. So what concerns me, what actually touches Caesar, what concerns me shall be dealt last. Okay, shall not be dealt at this point of time. What is important is other matters. So this does not, this something personal is not important at this point. Artemidorus, delay not Caesar, read it instantly. So first one, so the first, how do we understand Artemidorus's character here? It is important for us to understand or perhaps a desperation, or more perhaps the concern that Artemidorus, how do we know? One of the questions that ICSE could give you is, how do we know, perhaps if they give you this extract, that Artemidorus is actually concerned about Caesar, is a wisher of Caesar, is a well wisher. How do we know that? We know that by doing what? We know that by the requests that he puts in. First, we are introduced to him in Act 2, Scene 3. Then here, so the first line by says, read mine first. There you can write 1. I have written 2, but you write 1. That's of his first plea or first request that he's putting. Read mine first. And then the second one is when he's saying that, delay not Caesar, read it instantly. So there you can underline and write cares about Caesar, right? What is the fellow mad? Is the fellow mad? Is the fellow crazy? Sirrah, give place. Give place means Publius saying step aside. So how the conspirators are trying are in a way also what is revealed. So two aspects of it is revealed here. One aspect is that how Artemidorus is being is someone who's concerned about Julius Caesar and is concerned about Julius Caesar, and how Julius Caesar how concerned about, and how the conspirators, you have Decius, you have Publius, trying to make sure that their plan goes according, that their their assassination or their plotting goes according to the plan, right? Whatever they have plotted for Julius Caesar, that goes according to the plan. It is timely, and that is why he's saying, Sirrah, give place. That is why he's saying, Publius is saying, Sirrah, give place. What
urge your petition in the street. So Caesar being another thing that we'll get reflected, and Shakespeare has started it early. And always remember, when we are reading Shakespeare, no line is excessive, no line is unnecessary. All the lines somehow reflect back to, sorry, all the lines somehow are connected or associated with what is going to come. So here when Caesar says that, oh, what, urge your petition in the street, come to the capital, what is he trying to say? He's trying to say that he is, what does it reflect about his character? That he is someone who maintains a kind of decorum. He believes in rules and regulation. This is important here, because beta, what is going to happen later on, immediately a page later, you're going to see that what is happening. Caesar is going to talk about that how he's not going to repeal Publius's how he's not going to repeal Metellus Cimber's brother's banishment, because he is Julius Caesar. He believes in just cause, right reasons. He is that kind of a character, and Shakespeare begins that from this instance itself, because when Caesar meets a person whom he does not meets a person who presents him with a suit, what is his immediate response? His immediate response is to focus on the fact that, okay, you cannot present this. First of all, what concerns me shall be taken last. I am Julius Caesar. Being Julius Caesar, I am not going to take what concerns me personally here on the street. It will be taken up last. I am that kind of a person. And secondly, also, you have to follow, you cannot give your petitions in the street, you have to come to the capital, okay, the Senate house. Caesar goes to the Senate house, the rest following. Populace, I wish your enterprise today may thrive. Enterprise is, general meaning of enterprise is task, plan. So I wish today your enterprise may thrive. What enterprise, Populace? And Cassius is asking, so Populace is wishing this to Cassius. So Cassius is asking, what enterprise, Populace? What enterprise are you talking about? What is it that you're referring to? Okay, and thrive means comes to fruition, becomes successful, reaches to fruition, that is thrive. So you can underline thrive and write successful, reaches fruition, and enterprise is task or plan. What enterprise, Populace? So Cassius immediately asks him, what enterprise are you referring to? What is it that you're referring to? Okay. Fare you well, Populace, fare you well. And he advances to Caesar and goes to Caesar, okay, and he leaves for Caesar. So then Brutus asks Cassius, what said Populus Lena? What was it that Populus Lena said to you? He wished today our enterprise might thrive. He wished that our enterprise might thrive today. I fear our purpose. Here you can, for purpose, you can write strategy, plot, plan, whatever is discovered has been revealed. Okay, I fear that our purpose has been revealed. Brutus, look how he makes to Caesar. Mark him. Mark means pay attention to him. So look how he's making to Caesar. Look how he's actually, he's actually approaching Caesar. Who makes to Caesar is approaching Caesar, makes his way to Caesar. Mark him, pay attention to him. Cassius, Casca, be sudden. Sudden means be quick, okay? For we fear prevention. For we fear prevention, we fear that we might be prevented, we might be stopped, we might be delayed. Brutus, what shall be done? If this be no, Cassius or Caesar shall never turn, for I will slay myself. If this be no, which means if our assassination is uncovered, Cassius or Caesar shall never turn. Either Cassius or Caesar will die, for I will slay myself, for I will kill myself. Cassius, be constant. Populus Lenus speaks not of our purposes, for look, he smiles and Caesar doth not change. For look, pay attention, he's smiling and Caesar's expression doesn't change. If Caesar was being informed of his assassination, Caesar wouldn't have had that kind of expression on his face. Caesar wouldn't have had an unchangeable expression on his face. Cassius, Trebinus knows his time. Trebinus knows the right moment, knows his time is the right moment. For look you, Brutus, he draws Mark Antony out of the way. He's taking Mark Antony out of the way. Earlier we had read that how certain characters were assigned certain tasks. So it was Trebinus who was to take Mark Antony away. Exeunt Antony and Trebinus. Now before we go into the next scene, next point, next element, next aspect of this scene, there's certain things that we need to consider. There are certain things that we need to underline, or even certain things that we need to emphasize when we are reading this part of Act 3. Scene 1. Okay.
Yeah. So what is it now, coming back to me, what is it that we need to focus, pay our attention on? Just a moment, bear with me. What is it that we need to focus, pay attention on while we are reading this? Yeah, while we are reading Julius Caesar. I hope somehow, yeah, while we are reading Julius Caesar. So while we are reading Julius Caesar, what are the things that we need to pay attention on? The things that we need to pay attention on is, just a second, children. Yeah, the thing that we need to pay attention on is the fact that, just a second. Yes, this is the one of the perils of doing things. Yes, we are back again. Yeah, one of the perils of doing this. So one of the things that we need to pay attention on while we're focusing on Julius Caesar at this point till this juncture is that first of all, as I said, Artemidorus being a concerned person, Artemidorus being someone who's actually concerned about Julius Caesar. So that is there, and we saw how he's concerned about Julius Caesar. This is followed from the strain which was taken in Act, which began in Act, or which was initiated in Act 2, Scene 3, right? Then what we have is, we have Act 3, here we have him repeatedly requesting to Caesar, Caesar, listen to my request. Another aspect that we see is that another aspect that we see is that we would actually, what actually came to my mind is, the next time if any one of you are joining, I would like to wait and do a little bit of get to know each other kind of thing, because again I said, when we are living in the age of social media, what it actually happens is, although it brings us together, but it also creates a sense of distance between us. We don't know who we are, we don't know who we are. Obviously we don't know who we are, yes, because we are under so much of influence. But what I meant is, we don't know each other, so we'll perhaps talk a little bit of getting to know each other if some of you are here. If not, that's fine. Whenever you're watching this video later on, please do introduce yourself or comment a little bit about yourself, or even about Julius Caesar, or whether you like the explanation. Apart from the technical aspects, I'll bear with me, I'm sure I will get better, I'm sure I'll improve, because to be student and to be a learner is a process, as you all know, right? So the next aspect that we covered was how we saw that Cassius gets this, what could we say, a sense of paranoia. So Cassius gets paranoid. Why does he get paranoid? He gets paranoid. Paranoid is a sense of dread, when you fear something. Why does he get paranoid? He gets paranoid because Populus comes to him at that very point when little later they are going to assassinate Julius Caesar. We are going to cover till before the prior to the assassination of Julius Caesar. We are going to cover till there in this slide. Next slide we are going to take after the assassination of Julius Caesar, right? And I hope you people are here with me, so this becomes more interactive. If not, that's also completely fine, as long as you benefit from this, as long as it's helpful to you, as long as things make sense. That's our end goal here. Okay, so what we are going to do is then so the next juncture that we saw, the next juncture, especially since ICC is just a couple of months away, so why not, let's make the best of it. And if in any way you people can if in any way you people can benefit from this, that will be my goal. That's all I want. Okay, so next juncture that we have is Populus Populus coming, and Populus saying what? Populus coming and saying to people that I wish your enterprise today may thrive. I wish your enterprise today may thrive. What does it mean? I wish your enterprise today may thrive. It means that your task or your plan may become successful. And at this point, we see Cassius becoming more and more paranoid. Why is Cassius becoming more and more paranoid, or Cassius having a sense of paranoia? What does it reveal about his character? What does it reveal about his character? What it reveals about his character is the fact that Cassius is someone who's too focused on his emotions at this point. He's not someone being too logical, he's not someone being too rational, but rather he's focusing too much in his emotions at this point. Why is he focusing too much on his emotions at this point? Any guesses? Because obviously this is important for him. It is important for him that the task, the enterprise, the assassination goes well, assassination goes smoothly. That is what is important for him at this point of time. So he's like, when Populus reminds him that, okay, why is it that, what enterprise, Populus, he asks Populus, what enterprise are you talking about? He doesn't get an answer, and then he goes and says to Brutus that when Brutus asks him, what said Populus Lena? What was it that Populus Lena informed you? What is that you informed by Populus Lena? Then he's told, responds to the person that he wished today our enterprise might thrive. I fear our purpose discovered. So that fear is what is driving him. Look how he makes to Caesar. Look how he listens to Caesar, marks him. Now, what do we see? On one hand, if you have space anywhere in your book, please write this down. On one hand, we have Cassius getting, anxious on just a mere wish, just a small wish. It was just a one-line wish. I wish your enterprise today may thrive. So Cassius getting anxious, Cassius getting paranoid. Why is Cassius getting paranoid? Cassius is getting paranoid because we have just a mere wish from Populus. So Cassius is getting paranoid. And on the other hand, we have another aspect. Why am I talking about what character aspect is revealed here? Because that's important from ICSE point of view. ICSE gives you questions about the character, and yes, perhaps they might not give you this extract as well, but this extract leads to the accumulation of the entire character sketch. So what do we have? How do we see Cassius here? On one hand, we see that we have, you can write this, on one hand we have C or Cassius getting more anxious on just a mere wish, and on the other hand we have Brutus being reasonable. And we have Brutus being analytical. So he's someone who's analytical and who's reasonable. How do we know that? We cannot write answers based on I wish this is the happening, so this is the answer. No, we have to try and show, we have to support our interpretation. So we have to support our interpretation by what has been given in the text. So what does Cassius says then? Cassius says that Casca be sudden, for we look how he makes to Caesar. So Brutus is being rational, Brutus being analytical. Why? Because Brutus is being analytical because he wants, Brutus is telling, look how he's pay attention to Caesar. So it's not that Populus Lena has went and revealed our assassination, our plot to Julius Caesar, because there's no change in his expression. So again, being logical, being rational, but Cassius being passionate, because he's so close to what he has planned so far. We have read in Act 1, Scene 1, we have read in Act 1 that how Cassius is someone who is going to, who has invested a lot. He is the one who included Brutus in the enterprise. He is the one who brought other people. He is the one who has plotted. So at this point, it's almost like his dream, or not dream in that sense, but it's almost like this has been somehow plotted by him. And when it's so close, so this agitation at the mere wish of Populus reveals to us that how Cassius is someone who is at this really vulnerable emotional state. He's at this state where he feels quite vulnerable, and that is why he's anxious. So what does it reveal? It reveals to us about his vulnerable state. Whereas Brutus being Brutus, we know Brutus is someone who will do the right, honor in one eye and death in other. He said in Act 1, Scene 2, if I remember correctly. So he's someone being logical, he's someone being analytical, he's someone who believes in the right. He says, look, Cassius, so Cassius says what? That either, and he's again being emotional. How can you say Mama saying being emotional, so he's emotional? No. What does he say? Brutus, if this is known, Cassius or Caesar shall never die. Either Caesar will die or I will die. So he's being irrational. He's rushing through it, right? He's showing that kind of character aspect here. But Brutus, on the other hand, says to him what? Cassius, be constant. Be constant means be constant means be calm. Okay, be calm, settle down, it's okay. Okay, be calm. Populus Lena, thinks not of our purposes. Populus then is not talking about our conspiracy. He's not talking about that. For look, he smiles and Caesar doth not change. He's smiling and Caesar's face doesn't change. And Trebinus knows his time. This is it. So till this juncture, this is important for us to take into consideration. Okay, what should be the exact answer to what does this, not these, that's incorrect English, child. What these reveal about Cassius and Brutus' character. What does this reveal about Brutus and Cassius' character? That Cassius, being closer to the point of assassination, is being over emotional, is being anxious, is being agitated, while whereas Brutus is being logical, analytical. That's what is being revealed about their character. To which purpose? The purpose is the Populus was not talking about, that is not revealed in the text. That is, says is, I wish your enterprise may thrive today. So that's all he said. That's just one line that he said, that Populus was actually talking about which purpose. That's not, Shakespeare has not mentioned this in the text. We can guess as much as we can guess, but just to be on the safe side is always better to refer to what is given in the text. Whatever interpretation, whatever you want to, your opinion of that thing is there. Like here I said, Brutus is being logical, Brutus is being analytical, Cassius is being emotional, Cassius is having a sense of paranoia. I am supporting it with their behavior, with the behavior that they're reflecting at this point. But that's all, because here no one in the text Shakespeare has mentioned, or Populus re-enters and says, maybe he might just be giving just a good wish, that like we wish good morning. Maybe that's the not that he's saying good morning, he's not saying that, but he's saying may you have a good day. That's more similar to that. Okay, may you have a good day. Now we'll come to other juncture, which is about Metellus trying to flatter, what is this person's name? Caesar. Yes, I might end up forgetting the character's name because I'm so much in the explanation that sometimes I go here and there. So that's the way I teach. Don't worry about it. All of that is the way I teach. I'm sure you'll understand it by the time we are having more to 2 to 3 live sessions. Okay. So where is Metellus Cimber? Let him go and presently prefer his suit to Caesar. So where is Metellus? Because according to the plan, what is the plan? That Metellus Cimber is supposed to present his suit to Caesar and she should go. Now just give me a moment. I'll flip it so that you people can look at the text. Yeah, we are back at the text again. Are we all ready? What is now amiss? What is now amiss means what is now wrong? That Caesar and his Senate must redress. Must redress means basic general meaning of redress is better to correct, or that here it means that what Caesar and his Senate must sit and think about. Okay, what Caesar and his Senate must redress. Metellus, most high, most mighty, and most puissant Caesar. These lines are important because you can use it. Again, I'll come to that lesson where we'll talk about how we use certain keywords from the answer. So most high, most mighty, most puissant. What is the meaning of puissant? Puissant means glorious. You can underline that and write it in your book. So most high, most mighty, and most puissant. So ma'am, powerful means powerful. Someone has power, is powerful. That's a basic general dictionary definition. Better go and search powerful. What is powerful? You don't know what is the meaning of powerful. How have you reached class 10? Most high, most mighty, most puissant Caesar. Puissant means glorious. Metellus Cimber throws before thy seat a humble heart. So Metellus Cimber throws before thy seat a humble heart. So what we are going to say is that he is addressing Caesar. What does this mean that he's addressing? So when we look at the way he's addressing Caesar, for example, if I'm talking to you and I'm going to say most amazing, most wonderful, most great, okay, you see these words are hyperbolic words. Hyperbolic, exaggeration when you try to make it more than it is. So his flattery itself is not a subtle flattery. His flattery is not a simple subtle flattery, just a little bit of flattery. His flattery is centered around using of such big words. Okay, most high, most
high, most mighty, most puissant Caesar, most glorious Caesar. Metellus Cimber throws before thy seat, Metellus Cimber throws before thy seat, I'm throwing myself before you. A humble heart, a small, small heart, humble heart. You know the meaning of humble. And he kneels down. That is what he does. Okay. Caesar, I must prevent these Cimber, these touchings. I must prevent these Cimber, these touchings. I must stop you. Prevent you means I must stop you. I must stop you. These touchings and these lowly courtesies. These touching and these lowly courtesies. Touchings, bending, bowing, and lowly courtesies. Lowly courtesies you can line and write bowing. Touching is bending. So basically, these bowing and bending courtesies is bending, and touch no couching, I'm so sorry, I read it as touching, couching, sorry. These couchings, yes, couchings is bowing, and lowly couchings is bowing, and these lowly courtesies is bending. Okay, so these couching, so this bowing and this bending might fire, you can underline fire, and yes, it's couching, yes, might fire means motivate, might motivate the blood of ordinary men. So ordinary men might get motivated by these kind of, ordinary men might get motivated by these kind of behavior. Okay, might get motivated, might get influenced by these kind of behavior, right? And turn preordinance and first decree, turn preordinance and first decree, underline preordinance, and you can write order, underline first decree or underline decree, and you can write law. So men, ordinary men, men who can be easily influenced, men who can be easily impacted, they might get, melted at these kind of behavior, these kind of mockish, these kind of what could we could say, like this hyperbolic kind of exaggerated flattery. They might get, they might get fueled by all of these things. And turn means change, turn means change, and change to what, and change law and order into law of the children. Law of the children, underline law of the children, you can write frivolity. What is frivolity? frivolity. Frivolity means small matter, play games, okay, just childish games. So you can turn it into frivolity, can turn it into frivolity. Be not fond to think, be not foolish to think that Caesar bears such rebel blood, that Caesar bears such rebel blood. Rebel means false, okay, that Caesar's nature is so false. Caesar bears such rebel blood, Caesar's nature is so false, that will be thawed from the true quality. Thawed means that will be convinced, that will be impressed, that will be impacted from true quality, which that melteth fools, which actually melts fools, which actually convinces fools. I will be convinced by those aspects, I will be convinced by those kind of behavior. What does he mean? He explains, I mean sweet words. So I mean the sweet words that you are using. Low crooked courtesies, the low crooked courtesies again bowing, the bowing that you're doing. And base spaniel fawning, base spaniel dog, like a dog, fawning like a dog. So you're being someone who's almost like a dog, you're chasing, or you are behind me like a dog. Thy brother by decree is banished, your brother is by decree means by law has been banished. If thou dost bend and pray and fawn for him, if you bend, if you pray, and if you fawn for him, if you're bending and praying, and if you're trying to clinch to me, because of that I spurn thee, underline spurn, and you can write what, kick. So I spurn thee means I kick thee like a cur out of my way, underline cur, and you can write dog. So if you are going to display such a dog like behavior, then what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure that your brother who has been banished away, your brother who has been thrown into exile, I'm not going to repeal his exile. I'm not going to let him bring back. I'm not going to let him come back to the state. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spurn you like a cur, like a dog spurn is kick. kick you like a dog, that the dogly behavior, the dog like behavior that you're displaying, I'm going to kick you like that. No, Caesar doth not wrong. No, Caesar is not wrong. No, Caesar doth not wrong. Not wrong means unfair. So know that Caesar does not act in unfair manner, in unjust manner. Without cause, nor without cause will he be satisfied. Nor without cause. Cause means reason. Will he be satisfied? Satisfied means convinced. Okay. So whatever sentence means whatever judgment he has given to Metellus' brother, that judgment will not be repealed. That judgment won't be taken back. He would not be allowed back into the state until and unless proper reason is given. So this reflection of Caesar being someone who believes in proper reason, proper manner, decorum was also shown to us in this line. Where was he? What? Urge your petition in the street, come to the capital. Just one line, but that shows us that how I could not, yeah, what? Urge your petition in the street, come to the capital. That's one line, but this one line reveals to us what? This one line reveals to us how Caesar is a person who believes in following just reason, just cause, decorum, and that is what is also revealed here when he says, nor without just cause, without proper reason will I be satisfied. Metellus, is there no voice more worthy than my own? Is there no voice which is more worthy than me? To sound more sweetly, that will appeal to Caesar more sweetly, sound more sweetly, that will appeal to Caesar, that Caesar will be moved by in great Caesar's ear, that Caesar will be moved by, for repealing of my banished brother. For repealing means for taking away the exile of my banished brother, taking away of the sentence which exiled my banished brother. So then Brutus comes, and Brutus is important because Brutus is a beloved of Caesar. So Brutus comes and Brutus says what? I kiss thy hand, but not in flattery, Caesar. I'm kissing your hand, but I'm not doing it out of flattery. Desiring thee, what I want you is that Publius Cimber may have an immediate repeal, freedom of repeal. Freedom of repeal means coming back from exile. That Publius Cimber can come back from exile. That is what I want. What? Brutus? And Caesar is shocked. What, Brutus? You also doing this? And then Cassius comes and says, pardon, Caesar. Caesar, pardon. I'm begging you, sorry, Caesar. As low as to thy foot doth Cassius falls. Cassius is falling as low as to your foot to beg enfranchisement. Enfranchisement means freedom for Publius Cimber. So I am begging you for the freedom of Publius Cimber. This is the next extract, which is where we'll stop, but this is a very important extract in the character study of Julius Caesar. I could be well moved if I were you. If I could pray to move, prayers would move me. What is he saying? I could be well moved. Well moved here means I could be well influenced, well impacted. If I were you, if I were like you, I could have been impacted, I could have been influenced. If I could pray to move, prayers would move me. If I was someone who could pray that others would change their mind, if I was someone who had this habit of praying that others would change their mind, then I would do what? Then I could myself be convinced by prayers. Okay. So if I was someone who always used to pray, oh, I wish others change my mind, oh, I wish others change my mind, then I myself would be someone who would be convinced, who would be persuaded by prayers. But then it begins with the conjunction, but, which you know is almost a conjunction of contrast. But I am constant and as the northern star. So what does he considers himself to be? He considers himself to be who's firm, who is strict, who cannot be moved. And how does he make this comparison? He makes this comparison by saying, I'm as constant as the northern star, of whose true, fixed and resting quality. Underline true, fixed and resting. Again, keywords, true, fixed, truly fixed and resting. Resting means permanent. Whose true, fixed and resting quality, there's no fellow in the firmament. Firmament means sky. There's no fellow companion in the sky. Such is my nature. Such is the singularity of my nature. I am unique. I am different. I am someone who cannot be easily modulated, someone who cannot be easily bent, someone who cannot be easily influenced. Where was I? Acha, the skies are painted with unnumbered spark. Unnumbered means innumerable. Okay, abundant, lots of sparks. Sparks here means stars. The skies are painted with unnumbered spark. They are all fire and everyone doth shine. Everyone. So what aspect is being shared here? Again, this is something you'll also find in Macbeth. When Macbeth is trying to convince, I'm also teaching class 12 and 11, so that's why Macbeth references come. Also, it will make your explanation more richer. No need to use it in your answer. I'm just saying it because obviously, children, literature is related to one another. Everything is related to one thing or the other. So that's why. So Macbeth is trying to convince the murderers to murder Banquo. Banquo is one of the character, and when he does so, what he does is he says that all of us are like just like they are dogs of different breeds, men also like that, but it is our specialness, it is our uniqueness. Some dogs are hunters, some dogs are dogs which are supposed to be kept, that which are supposed to be kept as a pet, that differentiates us. Similarly here Caesar is also telling us, Caesar is also informing us that skies are made of unnumbered sparks are there, they all fire and everyone doth shine. So what is the property of the stars that's shared by every star? What is the property that's shared by all the stars? They all fire, they all made of fire and everyone doth shine, but there's only one in all doth hold his place. But there's only one that holds his place, that whose position is fixed, that's the northern star, right? So in the world, and just like that in the world, it is furnished means supplied with, filled with, it is filled with, supplied with men. And what is the characteristic? All men are flesh and blood. So every man is made of flesh, every man is made of blood, just like all the stars in the sky are made of fire and has the property of shining. So all men are flesh and blood. And apprehensive means logical, they have the capacity to think rationally. Again, the rational aspect, Caesar's emphasis on rationality being shown here. So and apprehensive, yet in number I do know but one. But in number, if it is if it is being asked, if it is being asked that whom do I know, who is what, who is firm, yet in number I do know but one, that unassailable means someone who cannot be influenced, someone who's firm. Okay, that unassailable holds on to his rank. So that with someone, Caesar is means that he cannot be somehow he cannot be somehow attacked, unassailable. And this is a kind of irony. I'll tell you why is it an irony. But that unassailable, so Caesar means that he cannot be easily persuaded, okay, cannot be easily attacked. And this is irony because immediately after we'll see how he is attacked, okay, by the conspirators. That unassailable, that firmly hold on to his rank, hold on to his position, unshaked or unshaked of motion, keeps on this position, unshaked of motion, undisturbed by anything happening around. So he is the only one who remain unaffected by anything happening around. And that I am he and I am that person. Let me a little show of it. Underline little show, and you can write by this behavior. So by this behavior, let me show to you, even in this scenario, this scene, this circumstances, this predicament that we are in, that I was constant, Cimber should be banished. I was constant, I was firm that Cimber should be banished, and constant to remain to keep him so. And I'm firm, I'm sure, I'm certain that he would remain so. He would remain in that way. Okay. We will stop here, but before we stop here, okay, what are we going to do before we stop here? We are going to make sure that we study a little bit in detail about why is this scene important. Okay, why is this scene, oh yeah, there we are. Why is this scene important? The scene is or not the scene, but the extract that we have covered, pardon me, the extract that we have covered. Why is this important? The extract that we just read is important because in the minds of the readers or the viewers and originally in the audience, we see a Caesar who is putting so much of emphasis on himself, that sense of overconfidence. Okay, I am the one, the great one, I cannot be moved, I cannot. So we see almost, yes, this is the Caesar, look at the Caesar. Okay, almost we get a point where we say, no, this person is so overconfident. Look at this person's nature. This person deserves to be assassinated. Not that I believe in that kind of opinion, but this is what it is. So a reader might get influenced into thinking that, at least that's what your workbook section of the year Pinto says. I'm also going to refer to what this says, what that says, and what is the how the text should actually be approached
Okay, so when we're reading literature, children, always remember there are different interpretations, different ways of reading a text. But what matters is whatever is your opinion, whatever is your interpretation, you back it up with, you support it with what? You support it with proper reasoning. Just like he says, you know, just cause, logic, reason. So you support it with proper reasoning. That will justify your whatever your interpretation, and then you get the marks, and then no one is going to say that, okay, why do you think? I think so because I saw so and so, and that is my interpretation. That is what studying literature is all about. It's interpretation. So what does it show to us about Caesar's character? It shows that how Caesar sees that he's firm, how he believes, the sense of self belief. Okay, he holds himself in high esteem. He holds himself, he considers himself to be someone who cannot be easily moved. So he holds himself high. Okay, he has a great sense of self-esteem. So great sense of self-esteem, that's one. Holds himself in highly, considers himself to be highly, that's another. So has great sense of self-esteem, self-belief, self-respect, any of the words that you would want to go with, adjectives you want to go with. Then another thing is he who considers highly of himself. He considers himself to be great. Right? That's what we see, right? So this is where we stop. Now we'd also notice that till this juncture, so what we covered Artemidorus being a concerned well-wisher of Caesar. We saw how the conspirators were trying to distract Caesar well enough. One of the modes of distraction, Caesar, come to the capital. Later on you'll see whatever, read mind. Trevenus says, no, read mind. And then we saw another aspect, Cassius being so close to what he had planned so far, what he had planned for such a long time, sorry, it's not so far, for such a long time, becomes, almost, agitated. He becomes agitated just by a simple mere wish that, may your enterprise thrive, right? And Brutus, being Brutus, shows that he's not emotionally invested in it. He has no personal motive for assassinating Julius Caesar. No, his motive has been through and through honor. His motive has been throughout since the beginning about the welfare of Roman citizens. So his mind is thus clear that, he's logical, he's rational, he's looking things at this, because he doesn't personally has any problem. In fact, he had struggled a lot with coming to this conclusion, with coming up to this point where he has actually joined the conspirators. Why? Because he was a beloved of Caesar. He was a great friend, one of the closest friend of Caesar. So for him it was not easy to join the conspirators, and he has had a lot of vexations. In one of the scenes he says, I think Act 1, Scene 2, okay, vexed I am of late with conflicted passions, with contradictory passions, contradictory emotions, right? So he has done this just out of the noble cause of the betterment of the welfare of Roman citizens. Whereas Cassius has personal grudges, Cassius has personal problems with Julius Caesar, and that is what has led to this thing. And since he's personally invested in assassinating Julius Caesar, since his cause for assassinating Julius Caesar is personal, what has happened? That the point when he's closest to that point, he becomes a little bit. That is why you could say, ma'am, why this one line is there? Why is Shakespeare just slid in this one line? Because just this one line shows to us the emotional state of the mental state of Cassius at this point of time. And this mental state reveals to us that Cassius at this point of time is agitated, is frustrated by something very, something very simple, something not very simple, but a mere wish. Not simple doesn't translate to mere, but just a small thing, by a small thing, which shows that how invested he is emotionally into this, right? So that is one aspect of Caesar, one aspect of this, whatever we have covered so far, not the whole scene. We have not covered the whole scene, but I won't keep you long. I know our attention span can last only so long. And also, too much of information is too much of information. We cannot take too much of information, okay? So that is there. And we saw that how Caesar was, another way of distraction was how Caesar was distracted by Publius's over the top hyperbolic flattery, how he was distracted by that, and Caesar is trying to attend to Publius Cimber, Metellus Cimber, and he's trying to attend like, don't do this, don't be like this, these lowly couches and these bowings, these bendings won't work on me. So his mind is all involved into all of that. In a way, he's distracted enough to get into all of this, while the other conspirators are going to surround him, are going to encircle him, and then they are going to attack him. Just a little later in the next live session we are going to cover that, right? But I want to do as much as we can because we're very close to ICSE. We have lots of things to cover. I might like if few people would join. I might like to do a session on how to write proper answers, what keywords to use, some background information, things like that. Whatever it could be, whatever can be covered, right? And then we have this extract, we have C, which is ironical because he says, I cannot be moved, I cannot be touched, I am firm. And we see the man who has such a high opinion of himself, a man who prioritizes himself to such an extent, is killed. That's all it is assassinated. After just a couple of lines later, he is assassinated and his life comes to an end. The great Caesar dies. And that's the impact that Mr. William Shakespeare has created. Okay. So I hope you do like this live session. Another would also be a live session. As I said, I like the authentic way of communicating with students. So even if you're not there, you can watch it later, comment later, whatever. But that is how I wish to go about it. So another live session would be the continuation of it. I'll also be putting up some videos for class 9, 11, 12, all in the format of the live session, which you can watch a little later. But make sure to study well, to understand the character, why are they behaving in a particular way, and to write your answers, shape your answers according to. All the best for your both journey, all the best in your career. May you thrive well. I'll take the words of Populus Lena and say, I wish your enterprise may thrive. Not today, but I wish your enterprise may thrive. See you in the next live. Bye bye. Take care.